Hi everyone, Paul Akers, host of the American Innovator. You know, the innovative spirit is alive and well, and everywhere I travel around the world, I bring back ideas and creativity to share with my audience to continuously improve and change the way we live. Welcome to the American Innovator. Well, this week we're going on a lean journey down to Walters & Wolf in Fremont, California, down in the San Francisco Bay Area. About a year ago, Walters & Wolf adopted the 2-second lean model, and they're doing a fantastic job. They have a beautiful facility, and what they do is they manufacture the curtain walls or all the glazing you see on the outside of a lot of the big high-rises up and down the West Coast. Very sophisticated operation. We're going to hear from Nick Kocelj, the COO, a good friend of mine.
We wanted to kind of visually demonstrate and communicate to our people what our plan was for this year.
Okay.
So rather than the old boring strategic plan, you know, when the managers go off to their yearly planning meeting, instead we kind of wanted to lay it out visually what we were planning on working on this year. And Paul, here you are. This is kind of where we got started.
Hey, that makes me look a little fatter than I am, Nick. You're hurting me.
Oh, it's probably just because you know, like the TV makes you look fatter. It's probably the posters make people look fatter.
Okay.
So this is kind of the path of where we've been. And this is kind of entering into our next year, and what we're hoping to do, which is standardize some of our big processes.
Okay.
We wanted to really kind of find a sensei to help teach us the tools, so that we can learn the tools and use them ourselves. And this kind of road kind of simulates what we think are going to be our obstacles. So these are kind of our.
Tell me about the ego. Why is that a big deal?
Well, I think my way is the best, is only way is, you know, people are very individual, and they all believe that the way that they're doing their process is the best. So that's going to be a big obstacle, is getting people to, you know, seek that consensus on what really is the best way, so that we can have a standard to improve from.
Has there been any secret to making that happen?
I'll let you know, actually, once we can actually make it happen.
Well, I think you are making it happen. So how come it's happened so effectively in 1 year for you?
I think it's because we're not telling our people the best way to do their process. They're deciding on the best way to do their process. So it's definitely.
So there's lots of ownership.
The person who's doing the work is the one that knows the best way to do it. That's what we've been taught, right? So this is those functional silos between departments that we're desperately trying to break down. Really, we don't want different departments. We're all the same department trying to deliver the same product to the customer.
I like you have a team sport here too. That's good. So this is a team sport, the company, as opposed to a bunch of different silos.
Yeah, so the fear of change.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was obviously a fear of failure is another big one. People don't want, but this really is. I think that's key, is not worrying about trying something new and having it not work.
So you get past these things: departmental walls, fear of change, failure of or fear of failure, and then you break through. That's the breakthrough moment.
Right, and then at that point we we laugh about this all the time, but it's really quite simple, but it's hard work.
It's keeping it simple and hard work.
If it were easy, anybody and everybody would be doing it. So it was
all the way up to 2016. So this will just continue to develop.
Yeah, that we were trying to show that the journey is really never going to end. It's just going to keep on going.
So we got a great overview of the way Walters & Wolf thinks about lean. Obviously, they're making it fun. They're not making it sterile. We went out onto the shop floor and we began to see all the improvements that everybody was making. We met with Chris, the plant manager, and we just saw very interesting ways in which they make things more efficient, from the way they store their shovels, their brooms, to the way they manage their glass and sheet metal and materials that they use on a daily basis. But it's a very buttoned down facility, highly organized, very disciplined, and they're having fun, because as I walked around, they have 900 employees and they have union employees, so you wouldn't think at all that they could do this maybe, but just the opposite is true. They've engaged their people, they respect their people, and they're constantly making improvements to make work easier and more enjoyable.
So these are the dies for the shear?
No, for the brake press.
For the brake press, okay. So you've got them heavy-duty drawers right there.
Yeah, we made these shelves ourselves.
And before, how did they get the dies out?
It was two guys picking them off a tree rack similar to this, and they would have to hand load them.
And so then they just take the crane up there, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll bring that around over here, and then they'll put them right in the brake right there.
So clearly, they're thinking about everything, how to make things easier and simpler and less burdensome. They understand the 8 wastes. They wear shirts that say death to the 8 wastes. They have a lot of fun in everything they do. We went into the kitchen area. They have their 6 and 8 step processes clearly posted, visual controls. Look how clean this place is. This is a bunch of guys. I mean, this is crazy good. Everything is well taken care of and respected, as well as respecting their people. Now look, they're not bending over. They've made tall sawhorses where before they would bend over. Look how much more efficient this is. You're working right at the level you need to be working at. So whether you're installing screws or running a bead of caulking, it's easy. You're not struggling to do the
So what
work.
they did is engineering and the shop operators for the machine is they decided on the standard tool list and the standard tooling for the planet that goes in the carousel. So what they did was they showed each one of the standard tools that we have, meaning the tool 7, tool 8, tool 9. This is the exact dimensions on how we on this work table set our tools, our replacement tools of drill bits, mills, countersinks.
So this is the standard. This is where you set it up,
Yeah.
right here.
And
Guarantees
inside
that when it
there.
goes into the machine, it's perfect.
All I can say is I want to work at Walters and Wolf because they've got it dialed in. They're making the processes accessible to everyone. Now we went out to their test facility outside, and this is where they actually put the glazing up on the wall and they stress test it. Watch this panel. They're moving it from side to side, simulating an earthquake. Now Nick takes us inside of the office to show all the great improvements they're making in there. Now remember, Walters and Wolf has made over 2,000 improvement videos in 1 year, and one of their most famous ones is hauling the mail, and now Nick's going to show us all the cool improvements they've made inside.
About 10 toner cartridges. And those toner cartridges were all for a Canon copier. And nobody knew we had them. We had so much extra inventory in there. So I turned over here, and our copiers are Ricos now. So we don't. All this stuff became obsolete. Everything that was there was thousands of dollars worth of toner cartridges.
Wow, and now it's so visual, so easy. Anyone could understand that. You want to work here because it all makes sense. Clearly labeled, 11 by 17. Do not stack any paper behind paper, so it's clear that this is what you have inventory-wise. You got a nice slot here for recycling, which works really well. The laminator's clearly defined. Very nice.
All of this, if you remember, this was the original location of hauling the mail, one of our first videos.
Okay.
All right, so when this was first done, these mailboxes were located on top of this counter, and they actually were warping the counter. So one of the improvements someone did is they came in and they added a brace underneath this counter to help support the mailboxes.
Right.
Since then, there's been another team has come in here and done another 5S project, and they were going to relocate the mailboxes to the wall over here.
Right.
And then someone came up with the idea that says, why don't we just raise them and we can
Have
utilize
that space.
the entire workspace.
Which was a great idea.
Right, and then they sorted everything, got rid of the rest of the items that were unnecessary. Got the Kaizen foam.
I'm going to tell you, Nick, it's the best mailroom I've ever seen. It is beautiful. It makes me want to come here to work.
And in the last 5S, they even ran a power pole down here that didn't exist before.
Nice.
So that they could plug in some electric stapler and some of the electric
And they're not
bolt
moving
punch.
around because you've got it embedded in the Kaizen foam. If you need to take it out, you can take it out though. And you've got everything labeled down here as
Right,
well.
try to eliminate
Letterhead,
the inventory.
pricing sheets, colored paper. It's beautiful. Fantastic. Even the pens, every detail has been done. And so what's the overall opinion of the way this is done now from the people who have to use it?
Yeah, we got a lot of great feedback on this last 5S project, so they're really happy. It's it's obviously making things easier, which is something that usually makes people happy.
So the signs now are everywhere, Nick? Your 6-step process for using the copy
Operating
machine.
the scanner, yeah.
Right.
What was interesting is when they had the idea to how this came up to label the different copy stations, is because when they were doing this 5S project, there was a mat on the floor, and someone said, why do we have this mat on the floor? Because these mats are at the entrances, so that when
Right.
people come in, it's wet outside, they don't slip.
Okay.
But this isn't an entrance. This door has been, it's not an entrance, been closed, and so we
Okay.
had these mats here, and these mats get serviced every week.
So the waste of over processing and serving the mats where they didn't
they
even
were
need
picking
it.
up the mat, cleaning it, bringing it back.
The mat guy loves you.
Yeah. So.
But the
and then-
good question of asking why.
And then what they discovered is that the end over there is also just an emergency exit. It had a mat also, so they eliminated 2 mats. And then to be able to give the instruction to the people who do the mat service, we had to tell them what locations the mats belong to and which ones they didn't. So that's where the visual controls came from.
Excellent.
And then we're hoping that this, eventually they want to get to a Kanban system for the paper, and then this will help with the Kanban system, locating which copy station needs what.
Oh, that's
in the Kanban
fantastic.
card, yeah. It's like the third 3S or 5S that's been done in just this one little copy station.
So this is called the Wolf's Den. This is actually where they meet and have their meetings out on the shop floor every day. Very cool. Look how fantastic this facility is. A consultant came in and said, you know, I could try to help you with lean, but when they walked around, they said, we can't help you because you're so advanced. Now, Walters & Wolf has done something that is over the top. They're doing a weekly email blast of all those thousands of videos that they send out to their company to show them all the great improvements that are being made. And this is an example of one of those email blasts. So they had a facility that they were building, and they noticed that all the little clips needed to be aligned perfectly, and if they weren't, it was going to cause a tremendous headache to the people installing them. So they're thinking of the customer downstream, which is one of their employees that has to do all this work, and they said, how can we lay these clips out effectively so that nothing hits each other, that everything goes easy and seamlessly and there's flow in the job? So they said, let's lay them out in advance so there is no struggle. So they got the exact layout of the clip on the entire project, saving themselves hundreds of hours and tons of aggravation, because this is the way they're thinking. Continuous improvement every day on everything. Thousands of videos transmitting a culture throughout a company with 900 employees. It's really a staggering accomplishment. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's American Innovator, a tour of one of the best lean companies I've ever been in. Walters & Wolf, you are doing a fantastic job. My hat's off to you. You have an amazing team.
Remember, life's an adventure. Be a part of the solution. Go out, learn, improve, change, think outside the box. We can change the way the world thinks. Be an innovator. I really got to stop getting myself in these situations. That's a leopard, and that's an elephant. Yes, and this is a cheetah.
Like, oh, I saw
Here,
that.
kitty, 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 kitty,
Oh,
kitty.
cute. He wants to play.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Got it.